1 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Foreign Office spokesperson says the Prime Minister has asked for utilizing all options after the revocation of Article 370 by India. Expressing concern over the recent developments regarding Kashmir, Saudi Arabia and Malaysia have called for settlement of the issue through peaceful means. In occupied Kashmir, over 500 political leaders and workers have been detained since India announced to repeal Article 370. The United Nations mission in Afghanistan has expressed deep concern over Taliban threats to target the civilians participating in the Afghan presidential elections. And now the news in detail. The Foreign Office spokesperson, Dr. Mohammed Faisal, says Prime Minister Imran Khan has directed for utilizing all options after revocation of Article 370 by India. Addressing the weekly press briefing in Islamabad, he said Pakistan rejects the unilateral action by India to change the status of Jammu and Kashmir. The spokesperson said India has been informed about the decisions of the National Security Committee. He said Pakistan will not send its High Commissioner to India. Dr. Mohammed Faisal said occupied Kashmir has been turned into the biggest jail of the world. He said Kashmiris have been undertaking struggle for their right to self-determination for 70 years. He called upon the international community to take notice of the atrocities against innocent people in occupied Kashmir. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashik Awan, says Pakistan will utilize all options for extending support to Kashmiris in the wake of revocation of Article 370 by India. Talking to media outside the Parliament House today, she said efforts are being made to highlight the issue, including consultations at the United Nations by Pakistan's representative, Dr. Maliha Lodhi, contact with the heads of government and diplomatic engagements. The Special Assistant said the civil and military leadership have resolved to transform this challenge into an opportunity by effectively highlighting the Kashmir issue. Pakistan's permanent representative at the United Nations, Dr. Maliha Lodhi, has urged the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres to play his due role in the crisis sparked by India's unlawful action in occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a tweet following her meeting with Maria Luisa, the chief of the staff of the United Nations Secretary General in New York, she asked the United Nations chief to call on India to comply with UN Security Council resolutions. Saudi Arabia has affirmed its stand that Kashmir conflict should be settled through peaceful means in accordance with the relevant international resolutions. According to the Saudi Foreign Ministry, it is following the current situation in Jammu and Kashmir, resulting from India's abolition of Article 370 of the Constitution, which guarantees the autonomy of Jammu and Kashmir. Malaysia has also voiced concern over the recent developments in occupied Kashmir, in particular the repeated escalation of tension in the region. A press statement issued by Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya today. Malaysia would like to encourage all the stakeholders to abide by the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions on occupied Kashmir towards the maintenance of international peace and security. American Senator Lindsey Graham says India's decision to change the status quo on Kashmir must be addressed before it leads to a further escalation of tensions. In a tweet, he said he just spoke with the Pakistani Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi about the growing crisis in Kashmir. In occupied Kashmir, over 500 political leaders and workers have been detained since India announced to repeal Article 370 of the Indian Constitution and divide the territory on communal lines on Monday. Almost all the Hurriyat leaders, including the All Parties Hurriyat Conference Chairman Sayyid Ali Gilani and the Chairman Hurriyat Forum Mirwais Umar Farooq, have been put under house arrest or in jails. The United Nations mission in Afghanistan has expressed deep concern over threats of Taliban to target civilians participating in Afghanistan's presidential elections, which are due to take place on the 28th of next month. In a statement, the mission said attacks on the polling centers and civilians participating in the electoral process are a clear violation of international law. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk. And you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.